Hey everyone, while you have been once again bombarded with news on mainstream media about what Donald Trump said about Muslims, or complementarily about the murderers who are deceased at the focus of the San Bernardino mass shootings, let me introduce you to a man responsible for an almost shooting you didn't hear about that occurred today, which I might add wasn't the only story about a shooting that happened today around the United States. But considering this occurred at Arkansas State University, it may very well have been the next story of a mass shooting. This man's name is Bradley Kenneth Bartelt. That's him right there. Yep, Bradley Kenneth Bartlett, as he was introduced here as the man arrested. He's 47 years old, of Jonesboro, and that's his page. You want to know something about Bradley? First of all, his latest entry yesterday, before all this horrible, before he took his truck and drove onto Arkansas State University property armed and dangerous with weaponry, although he didn't use them. This is what he posted, and it's the crying of a person who needs help. But if you go through his Facebook page, you find that he is an angry conservative who is supportive of the use of guns and the ownership of guns, and sadly, pretty much a number of messages and memes we've come to look at as stereotype for someone who is the focus of a, in this case, near domestic terrorist act. He says, need assistance? I am Federal Judge John Goree of Social Security Administration, misstating, changing, falsifying medical records, documenting over 22 times, multiple civil rights violations of federal workforce, Arkansas University, and several Arkansas departments, all resulting from something that happened on August 22nd, 2012, an accident at Arkansas State University, Newport, which gives you a clue as to why he would go to Arkansas State University. It's related to something that happened to him. He's trying to bring attention to his problem. He said that he has basically cried for help. No one will read, much less touch, or help due to fear of governmental consequences. Told multiple professionals and people in the state of Arkansas that he is suicidal and now homicidal, which appears they want as a problem go away so he would die from all injuries and kill himself by now. And any assistance as well as passing this on to everyone you know would be appreciated. As you can clear, there were 469 shares, but those shares occurred after what happened today. So, we scroll down and there's what he calls a blood. He called this a blood moon. Well, it is. It's the blood moon lunar eclipse. Not what he called it. What it was. I stand corrected. And he reads, "Trust in the Lord with all your heart, and lean not on your understanding." And he quotes, "We have enjoyed so much freedom for so long that we are perhaps in danger of forgetting how much blood it cost to establish the Bill of Rights." Felix Frankfurter. And he goes on and he says, "When you are put on a watch list for agreeing with the Constitution, there is tyranny." And then he shared the cold dead hands photo, which reads, "We the people are the militia." And then he goes on to share, not only do we get wasted on the crazy train we stole, the motherfuckers follow. Okay. Then he says he's inviting his Facebook family, this is October 17th, and friends to join him in returning to the traditional greeting of Merry Christmas instead of the politically correct Happy Holidays. If you agree with me, please post this message. We need Christ back in our lives. God is welcome in my house. That's and he goes on saying, remember, anyone can love you when the sun is shining in the storms where you learn who truly cares for you. Share if you support school prayer. Share this candle in love, in memory of someone you've lost, gone, but never forgotten. You share this Wired Outdoors photo where it says, Mr. Martinez, please explain to the committee why you need a magazine that holds 30 rounds. And he goes on to answer. He says, who do you think you are? My rights come from God, not you. Not only that, but you work for me, not the other way around. Now explain to me why the DHS needs 1 billion rounds of ammo. And the David Willis post reads, love the unlovable, forgive the unworthy, and do good to those who can't repay you. That's what Jesus did, and that's what we are called to do for each other. And he's got a lot of notes up here, and this is about what true friends are. But then if you keep going down, it starts to get even more personal and less political, because it says guns don't kill people, the government does. He's talking about the wages here. And he says, how many likes and shares can the Confederate flag get? Okay. And, well, 2. Anyway, I'm making changes in my life, so if you don't hear from me, then you are one of them. And then he reads, this is telling. It sucks. This is September 14th right here. It sucks when you realize you rejected other people for the one person who wasted your time. And then loyalty is about people who stay true to you behind your back. And relationship with God is the most important relationship you have. Embrace it every day. And he talks about, again, loyalty. And there's another picture here that he posted. That he updated his cover photo with what appears to be his kids. And it says, Brad Bartley with Elizabeth Oxford. And his kids. And so, it appears to me that Mr. Bartlett went through a journey from a good relationship. He was separate. Then he was separated. And in August 21st, separated. September of 2014, he was in a complicated relationship. But this year, here, separated. It was complicated prior to that. September 14th, 2014, he updated his profile picture, and that's apparently his first posting. So this is a picture of a man who seemed like he was quite literally, and I don't know the full background, mentally degenerating from someone who at one point was in a complicated but existing relationship with a woman, perhaps this Elizabeth, and then they separated, and his postings went from personal postings about his family to ones where he was talking about people being disloyal by talking about what loyalty is, to then he ratcheted to the political and to the conservative and to matters of the rights of guns and a lot of the common tropes we've seen again and again and again, sadly, in situations like this over the past year. The media doesn't talk about the real problem in our society, and it's the middle-aged white person, man, who goes in this direction mentally and winds up doing what he did in terms of going to Arkansas State University armed. He was confronted and surrounded by police. Clearly has a mental problem. Men like him have committed suicide more often in the United States over the past 6 years than ever before. There's a problem we're not addressing, and it doesn't help to foist our terrorism problems off on someone who's Muslim or economic problems off on someone who's an immigrant, more often than not from Latin America or Mexico. That's not the issue. The real problem, I've said it before, and I'll say it again concretely, is the loss of well-paying, low-skilled work that existed in the past. Remember, we stopped teaching shop in high school, for example. So now a high school degree is far less valuable than it was ever in the past. We don't have a system where someone with just that degree can go and get a job in a place like the great Ford Motor Company plants that surrounded Detroit during the mid-60s through the 80s and provided occupations like that. Now we tell people, get retrained. Not everyone has the aptitude to be a programmer or an engineer, and it's wrong to ask everyone to be that. We have to go back to the idea, the true idea of a full employment economy, which means everyone can get a well-paying job regardless of skill set. And we have to build that economy, and we have to do the government subsidies to make sure they're businesses that can be viable, producing, for example, bicycles and automobiles here, and trains and aircraft. The 787, the Boeing 787 has components made in 96 different countries. 30 years ago, it was just 3. That's the problem. And what's happening is that we're folks like this gentleman in society at 47, middle-aged, are stuck, and they psychologically are not structured to deal with what they're dealing with. And then, of course, hey, relationship crumbles and the whole foundation gives way. That's happening too often, and we don't talk about it.